The military buildup is basically three main things. Okay, there's the movement of at least 9,000 Marines from Okinawa and their dependents. Okay, and then there's the creation of an Army Missile Defense Task Force. And then the third is the dredging of Apra Harbor to make way for an aircraft carrier berth. So those are the three main projects. But in addition to that, you've got all this construction going on where they'll need to be housed, they'll need places to train, jungle training, live fire training. And so this is a huge process which involves all of the Marans Islands, although Guam is getting the huge brunt of it. Now, there's going to be 80,000 more people on the island, and they're all going to be competing for resources. They're all going to be trying to get land to build a house, apartments to live in. They're all going to be trying to fish the same waters to make a little extra money. They're all going to be struggling for the same space to have picnics at, the same space on the road. There's all these, it's just going to be this massive competition for the next few years for people to get what they can. And some people will be reaching to make more money, whereas others will just be struggling to survive. And so, I'm really, to me it's really disappointing. It's really sad that this is happening, and that from the moment that this military buildup was announced, you had our leaders were basically celebrating it when they really should have been asking questions and saying, well, hold on a second. When the Department of Defense moves the Marines here, one thing that's in their mind, and the thing that kind of is the real problem in terms of land, is training. Is that they're going to have all of these people here, and they need to train them. They need to train them in certain types of combat. They need to train them with certain types of weaponry. And so the Department of Defense is planning on taking areas to either expand existing training areas or build new training areas. And so in the CNMI, the island of Tinian is going to be key in the Marines training. There's even talk of the Marine Corps simply taking the entire island. When they were first thinking about where to put the firing range, they were planning on putting a Marine live fire training range in Finagodzin, which is on the western side of the island. But people complained and said, no, if you put it there, there's divers and there's tourists there's people who fish and there's people who dive down there. There's an economy on the reef and in the water near Finagodzin, and so that would be disrupted. But on the other side of the island, you have all of this property along the coast. You have one of them is the Guam racetrack, which is Chor Land Trust land. There's private owners in Pagat, Sasahadzan. There's the Pagat Cave area, which is a popular hiking, and cultural site. And so basically, the Marines would build their firing range there, but in order to comply with their own regulations, all of that land along the coast would have to be taken, and it would have to be leased. And so that means displacing businesses, it means displacing families, and it means displacing hikers and people who travel to those sites. And so this is one of those conflicts for the training and for the firing ranges. It means not only cutting off those areas on the eastern side, Pagat, Sasahadzin, the racetrack, and so on, but there's the possibility that Mount Lam Lam could also be cut off from the public during certain parts of the year because they would like to do jungle training in that area. Since 2005, the DoD always said that they weren't going to get any new lands. They said, we're just going to stay on our existing footprint. And they said that, I guess, because they were trying to calm down any fears that they were going to retake any lands that they had already given back. When the military says it wants 2,300 more acres, they mean outside of their base, and they mean acres of land which belong to people or which have these natural historic sites on them. If the military was trying to take my land, well, I don't know, I would definitely put up a fight somehow. I unfortunately don't have any land, but if I did, and the military had their eyes on it, then I would the first places I would go is the legislature and the governor, and I would say, the military already has almost a third of this island. Why are you giving them more? Why are you going to let them take any more? You know, and just about everybody in the government will use the metaphor of like, there's a train coming, we can either get on it or we can get hit by it. And so they use that to then argue that, well, we shouldn't try and stop it because we can't stop it. So we should just get on board and then we'll benefit from it. It'll take us someplace. No matter what you feel about the buildup, everybody has to accept the fact that it's going to radically change Guam. It's going to radically change this island. And so even if you think it's going to be fantastic and wonderful, you still have to accept that it's going to radically change things. You know, when we talk about Guam changing, like it's very real. There may be certain places on Guam that we will not be able to go to unless you have a military ID or unless you get sponsored onto the base. And it's very troubling. And so you have a very simple choice now. You can either be involved in how that changes, you can either be a part of it, you can be informed about it, you can do something about it, or you can do you can just go with the flow. You can just not do anything. Just say that, well, Uncle Sam is looking out for me, or Felix Camacho is looking out for me, or the legislature is looking out for me, and they might be, but just accept that this is going to be great and I don't have to do anything about it. But I think when you look at the EIS and the fact that it's 10,000 pages long, it means that basically there's something in there for each and every one of us. There's some impact, some piece of negative something that's going to happen to every single person on this island. And so that means that basically you need to get involved. You need to stand up, inform yourself, do something about it. And so the EIS process, you can get involved with that. You can work within the system and read it and say, I think that they shouldn't put the firing range here, I think they should put it there. Or you can get involved outside of the system. You can protest, you can meet with your senators, your governor, you can go to your mayor, you can talk to your families. Because I see people getting activated, getting animated, and finally kind of waking up and trying to get involved. Like, I think, although I'm pessimistic, I think that we can have a say in this. We can change this somehow. We can take control over this. But it will take a lot of work, and it will take a lot of leadership.